Recording in progress.
Call to order the regular meeting of the Rio Dell City Council. Roll call, please.
Mayor Garnes.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Orr.
Here.
Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Wood.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public presentations. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council on matters not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or staff is not allowed under the Ralph M. Brown Act. Items requiring council actions not listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for consideration if the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an urgency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Anyone like to jump up and speak? No, no takers. Any hands raised? Any emails?
No.
Thank you. Then we will close public presentations and move to the consent calendar. Would anyone like to remove an item from the consent calendar? Anyone in the public? Any emails? Okay, then I'll call for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote. Don't know why that red thing there, but it's a yeah. Motion carries. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Why?
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Reports and staff communications, page 21 in our packets. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes and members of the council. So just some new information. I'm pleased to hear that Caltrans is working on this. The fencing along Bellevue Avenue in Wildwood, in US 101 is scheduled to be replaced. And it's going to be a different type of fencing than the chain link fencing that you typically see in a lot of Caltrans projects. So it is welded wire fencing, and so you would see this type of fencing most recently up in Arcata. It's been installed in several sections along the freeway there. In Ukiah, if you've driven through there over the past year, they did some upgrades there, and it's kind of the new standard. I did have just an image for you guys to see what that would look like, and just share it after the meeting. On an update for the church property on 2nd Avenue, the church was able to redeem that property right basically at the last second. So that is off of the table. Staff also held a pre-construction meeting for the Eel River Trail with our contractor, and work on the trail is slated to begin June 24th. We are pending a required bird survey that I believe was accomplished today, and I haven't heard an update on that. But 1 week prior to construction, within a week, there's a required bird survey that doesn't necessarily stop the project, but if there's nests or something, a section of it might have to be held off for a certain amount of time. We also have a new series of advertisements that are out for our police officer lateral recruitment, and also our chief of police, which has generated some applications. So we're looking forward to those. And at noon on Thursday, the 20th, so coming up, the city of Fortuna will be opening their new police department at the intersections of Bronerville and Newburgh Roads in Fortuna. So the building, the relationship there for Rio Dell is the building will house Fortuna's dispatch, in which the city is a contributor towards dispatch operations and receives those services from the Fortuna Police Department. So council members are welcome to attend that. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have or that you may have of Seth. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Mayor Pro Tem? No question. Thank you. Councilmember Orr? No question. Councilmember Woodall? Councilmember Wilson? Yeah, I have no questions. Are there any hands raised or email? Any public questions? We will close that. Thank you very much. Thank you, staff, for saying all of you. Okay, now we will have the special presentation. Presentation of the Humboldt Senior Resource Center Senior Home Repair Grant Program, page 28 in our packets. The manager.
I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Travis Sanborn, our finance director.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor Garn, members of the council. Tonight we have with us Vanessa Kirsten from the Humboldt Senior Resource Center. She's a community resource and housing coordinator. She's going to give us a report proposing creating a senior home repairs grant program. This program would provide financial assistance to eligible seniors for minor home modifications and improve safety and accessibility.
Should Brian stand here or?
Well, you can come up to the podium. No, thank you. Welcome and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Get a little anxious about this stuff, but I'll do my best. Essentially, what we've brought forward is a partnership that we've had with the city of Eureka for the past 36 or so years, 1988. We've been partnering with them to be able to provide the seniors within the city limits of Eureka with accessibility, contributions, minor home repairs, grab bars, floor or slip hazards, and being able to alleviate those issues in the home to help create a place or to help keep people in their own homes for as long as safely possible, which is the ultimate goal of many of our programs at Senior Resource Center. We do anywhere from things from grab bar installation, repairs on stairs. Sometimes we live in a wet area, so we get a lot of kind of rot and moss growing on steps. We do a lot of repair on those, cleanup of those types of areas. We utilize HUD housing guidelines to be able to evaluate the eligibility for the program. And we kind of follow suit with many of our other programs that have age requirements of age 60 and older, 55 and older, depending on the program, so on and so forth. So I brought forth some examples of some of the individuals that we've helped with while keeping their names private. One example was a 77-year-old man, previously reliant on his family for laundry services. He had his own washer and dryer, but he was feeling unstable and unsafe to go approach the garage, which was 3 or 4 steps down from his actual house, attached, but still a stairway. And we were able to install some handrails from the house through the threshold to the shop. And now he's able to have that independence restored to do his own laundry. Whereas he was waiting before for family decided, you know, gosh, it's almost easier if I just take this home and do it myself. But then he was stuck without laundry for a couple of days, you know, relying on their schedule. But he regained his restored independence at that point. Another example is a 97-year-old woman previously limited in her ability to leave the house, now enjoys greater mobility. She had handrails installed both at her front and back door, front door, so that she could get out for doctor's appointments, and back door, because although she doesn't go to many doctor's appointments anymore, she makes sure to get her exercise every day by going out her back steps, down the pathway and into her garden and back around. So she does her laps. Another example is a 68-year-old woman who was afflicted with severe arthritis. She struggled with traditional water knobs on the sink, kitchen sink, bathroom sink, and in the bathroom showers. And our team was able to install lever pools in the bathroom instead of the traditional turning knobs. Really helped with her mobility, and she was able to continue independence, enhancing her overall living conditions in her own home. Another example is of a 76-year-old woman who was receiving home delivered meals from one of our other programs. She was at risk due to falling down these rotten, moldy, mushy stairs. Our Homes Delivered Meals volunteer made the concerned referral for her, and our senior home repair program was able to restore the stairs back to their secure state, ensuring her well-being and the well-being at that point of our volunteers out in the community. So these narratives, they really illustrate the impact of our program, the benefits that we bring about, the community that we should be helping take care of, and really help thrive in their own homes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any questions? Councilmember Whittle?
Sorry. Yeah. You said some of the work is done by volunteers.
In that particular case, we have had work done before by volunteers. We have a rigorous model for ensuring that people are bonded, insured, things like that. It's the case now that all of our employees through the repair program are employees, so they're not volunteers.
So I'll use stairs just as an example. So they want some stairs repaired and it's a little over $300. Do they end up paying that, or can they have $300 for repair?
Absolutely. We've had cases wherein an individual has utilized $298 and they really needed the tape, the sticky tape that is the non-skid tape at their back porch. And it was a matter of probably $35 with everything in additional. So they just paid the difference of the $300 cap. So the cap is for a fiscal year or year. It really depends on the grant writings and outings. But yes, absolutely. That is an option.
It's expensive as everything is now. $300 doesn't go where it used to.
It doesn't, but in considering the expanse of what it is helping provide, it's a lot of reassurance.
No, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
Yeah, does the city of Rio Dell fund this or something?
That's the ask. We would love for a grant. That is essentially kind of what we're asking for, is this partnership wherein we would facilitate the program with the grant from the city.
So they're asking for $5,000 to fund it. Good way to.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank
No questions necessarily. I really like this idea. I work with elderly disabled people inside their homes, and sometimes it's something as simple as like a between rooms that make you go down, and sometimes one falls off the take. So obviously, you know, disabled and senior citizens are kind of important to me. So I think it's a lovely way to support a population of people that often feel forgotten about. And I think it's a good idea. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Moore?
No questions. I think this is great.
Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Well, no, I have no questions. I fully support it. And so I would call for, I think I'm proposed. City manager, is this something we can do tonight to call for a vote to have the budget adjustment, or is that not something?
Yeah, I would, you can, let me formulate a motion here for you this quickly, that the city council, direct staff to move forward on establishing senior home repair grant program and allocate the funding through a budget adjustment, now that the program is approved.
Thank you.
So say so moved.
So yes, the consent. So we have a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Motion carries 5-0.
Is there a chance for public comment?
Oopsie, that's okay. I'm very absolutely not. Next time, stop me.
That's okay. Humboldt, 3 Ganger Street. It sounds like a fantastic program, absolutely, to keep people in their homes. I'd suggest looking at lighting, also big issue with lighting, hearing assistance. My dad is losing his hearing, and that's been a huge problem, and a lot of people don't think about hearing impairment. They had at one time fixed my grandmother's light so that when someone had hit the doorbell or they rang the phone, her light would flash a little bit to let her know. Those kinds of things are fantastic. My only concern would be the bureaucratic part of a grant, the things that we may or may not have choices over, and that's the eligibility for it. 60 or higher, 55 or higher, whatever that is, but the income requirements on it, as we've seen with the earthquake recovery stuff, it's kept a lot of people out because the feds haven't updated their numbers since, forever. So I don't know if we have any flexibility on that. If we do, I would love to see Rio Dell throw in a little extra perhaps to do something more. Because we have so many people that couldn't get any help with the earthquake repairs and may also not qualify for this, that really could use it, and I think it's a great program. And the Senior Resource Center does terrific things. So I'd love to see it get going, but I could just see it coming down at eligibility, just because it has gotten so many people, as we've seen with the earthquake assistance.
Thank you. Sarah, any hands raised, emails, anyone else want to make a comment? I apologize for hitting the cart before the horse. Was there a question that you wanted to have addressed about eligibility? Since we're
Do we have any kind of flexibility in the eligibility parameters, or is that set in the grant?
wrong.
So I gave the model from the city of Eureka, who uses the guidelines for HUD for the county. So they are fairly gracious. You could choose, essentially the answer is yes. The city could write whatever they wanted in the grant. They could make any adjustments they felt necessary. I do realize that different cities or towns have different income levels that can hinder, eligibility. But it seems as though the low income level for HUD, which is 70,000, it's 70,600 for a household of 4, or a household of 2. I could be watching that somewhere around there, and it feels fairly gracious for the senior population, who's typically living on extended.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. We'll move on to a presentation from Recology Eel River. Page 9 to page 30 in our packets. The annual rate adjustment to solid waste franchise agreement.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. So as you're all well aware, annually we do this as part of our franchise agreement. And I think a couple of things just of importance to note here in the discussion is that the rates, there's a portion of the rates established for a franchise hauler, Recology Eel River. And then there's a portion that is related to the Humboldt Waste Management Authority. And so by and large, the vast majority of fees associated with garbage service, recycling service are really associated with the Humboldt Waste Management Authority. But our contractor, our franchise service hauler for a solid waste collection service is Recology Eel River. And so we do have a presenter here to give just a short presentation on this year's rate adjustment. And I will say one more thing is we are expecting for the next agenda to be onboarding a consultant to work with us in terms of working towards SB 1383 compliance, potentially universal collection service, and that sort of thing. That'll all be grant funded. And so I'm hoping that by our next meeting, we'll have an agreement for the council to consider and discuss on that. But this solid waste franchise agreement expires December 31st, 2026. So these can be often lengthy, long negotiations, very, complex contracts. And certainly confusing agreements that we would love to make clearer and more uniform with our neighboring jurisdictions. But so with that, I'll go ahead and hand it over. Thank you.
Mayor Garnes.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. My name is Frank Nelson. I'm the Assistant General Manager for Recology Humboldt County and Recology Eel River. Linda White is the General Manager. You're probably pretty familiar with her. She's at another meeting tonight, but you'll probably see a lot more of me. I think Linda's planning to retire this summer. So yeah, after 20 years of serving the community. Yeah, I don't know, I think that cat was out of the bag a while ago, but I've been lucky to study under Linda for, going on 4 years now. And, I've got about 18 years in the industry and, the franchise agreement here with Rio Dell, the collection services that are provided for Rio Dell, it's a handful of employee owners that have stock in the company that actually come out and collect the trash. I name them all, but I don't want to embarrass them. There's just a few of them. The city of Rio Dell is still, what you would call it not an automated collection system. And that means it's one of the few cities left in California where you actually have to grab the can in the back of the trash truck. And I think the adjustment this year has a lot to do with like Kyle alluded to the HWMA processing fee as well as recycling processing. So there, HWMA, I don't speak for Eric, I know we're all familiar with the HWMA board, but they've, struggled with what Recology struggles with and what a lot of their business owners struggle with is moving materials out of the area and not having something to backhaul. Just kind of fundamentals of our economic activity that we have here. I think one thing to speak for Recology and to speak for county at large too is that we really struggle here with knowing what to recycle. And I think it's kind of a problem that came with some of the franchise agreements that have been around for 20 years that maybe recycling wasn't a big thing back then. It's kind of evolved into it's part of our lives now. And so in the future franchise agreement negotiation, we're be hoping to look at some options to improve education around recycling to business owners and to community members and outreach to schools and at public events and to make that part of our offering. And and I think Kyle said that's about 90% of the rate increase this year is due to HWMA and a small post fee. And then 10% is due to Recology, and that is driven by the CPI modifier in the contract. The other thing I wanted to mention too is the fee, kind of so you get an idea of what the change is going to be for everybody. Because I pay my trash too, so I'm always like, what is my bill going to be? For the 32-gallon customer, which is the majority of Rio Dell, it's about $2.13 a pump. So I think there's a lot of rate hikes going into like Netflix and other things where you're like, $2.13. I think that's a function of us trying to control costs as much as possible. I think the average 1 yard is going up about $17 a month, so a little bit steeper, but still there's some adjustments that we might be able to do in the next franchise agreement to look at the way that the costs are structured. So if you have any questions for me, I know that there's some looming concerns about SB 1383 and our impending negotiations with our franchise agreement. I'd be happy to talk with you about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Mayor Wilson?
No questions.
Councilman Wilson?
Just the recycling fee and like recycling fee stays same.
I believe that the recycling rate increased a little bit. It was a little bit higher this year. So we're seeing decreased tons in recycling from HWMA members. I was surprised to actually see that. It kind of goes with the Hambro opening buyback centers. You see decreased recycling tonnage, and it's what do you call it? It's the volume. The higher volume you have, the more you have to spread the cost, right? It's kind of like if you buy a lawnmower and one lawn, it's really expensive, but if you can move 50 lawns with a lawnmower, it's a lot cheaper, right, for everybody. So the decreasing tonnage and then the continuing a 30% contamination on recycling. And it's really, I think that's for the next 20 years. My goal is to see it come down. I think it's a lot about educating our kids about it and educating people at community events in a fun way. So hopefully that can have some positive impact over my career here.
Hey, it looks like I'm reading it properly, 31 cents. the greenway. It looks like I'm reading this properly. 31 cents is
Which page are
for the greenways, 36.
Oh, no, sorry.
It's on,
It's at the very bottom one, it's the very bottom item.
it's just hard.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you.
Councilmember, Woodall.
Are we still gonna have a garbage day pickup further down?
You know, that's something that we can fit in the franchise agreement. I know that other jurisdictions have, they want to have programs that are supported. And they want to have the opportunity to support, which I thought was really great, to support events. You know, to say if Rio Dell was gonna have someone that wanted to put on an event, have an opportunity to sponsor, you know, their trash. So a lot of good things that are coming to light, and we're kind of, I think that the city of Rio Dell is really gonna benefit from this because, you know, we got out in front of it with the city of Eureka and with the city of Fortuna. And so we're coming up with all of these great things that we're kind of working through, and we're kind of building a structure of what we think is really gonna work. And then it's, you know, being that you guys are inspiring in 2026, it'll end up in front of you and we can make adjustments to make it work for you guys too.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And are we ever, is the city of Rio Dell going to go to automated, you know, and
Oh, I say you're right, you're tracking Rob with left. Yeah, yeah, I think at some point in the future, yeah, I think we've got to look at getting some automated cans, but the equipment we're looking at kind of rolling out the equipment with Fortuna, Rio Dell, and hopefully Ferndale to try to see some cost savings for everybody. Yeah.
because that would definitely change the cost.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So would there be, and this is future questioning, but would there be an offset between the loss of labor and all the benefit package labor gets versus the automated, you know?
It all kind of works out in the details because you usually look at expanding services and adding different things. So it really depends how you negotiate the details.
Thank you. Do you have any questions up there? Absolutely, sure.
You can ask the garbage man and
I just have to make a comment. I was just down visiting my dad for Father's Day down in Southern California. And he was telling me about a service that he just found out about through his garbage service. That may be available locally, and if it isn't, I'd advocate for it. And if it is available locally, we should advertise it more in the senior community. And he was able to register with his garbage service that he's a senior citizen and that he needs some extra help here. And they actually come and get his cans and take them out to the street for him so that he no longer has to do that, which is really good because he's unstable on his feet. And I don't know the parameters on it, if it required a doctor's note or what the deal was. But just knowing that was available was huge. It's a big relief off of him, knowing, you know, he always had to get his cans out there. And again, it wasn't widely known. It was simply through word of mouth through an elderly neighbor that he found out about it. So if we don't have that, that would be an awesome service to add in. And if we do have it, we need to advertise it to our senior community. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you know if that service is available?
you know what, and Rio Dell, I'm not 100% sure, but I know in a lot of the franchise areas it is.
Oh.
Yeah, and I believe it's free too, so
All right, well, thank you.
I like it when there's not a dog behind that gate. The little ones are the ones that, yeah. There's.
And let me see if I need to. Approved. Were there any hands raised, any email? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For coming and the presentation. So I will ask if there is a motion to approve the proposed rate adjustment with the River Ecology River and accept it as an amendment to the solid waste recycling franchise agreement effective July 1st, 2020. So have a motion and we have a second. So a motion and a second, please vote. Motion carries. 5. Are you on? You're on, Amanda.
Is it me?
Let's go on there.
Okay, motion carries 5-0. Don't know what that red light.
Push your other button.
Push your other button. There.
Thank you. And now we are at council reports and communications, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, I have a page for you. I attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting. We are very much talking about Wildwood Days. It seems far away. It's not far away. We got another Western theme this year, so get your cowboy boots and hats ready. It's gonna be really fun. Also on that, there is a new meeting location for the Rio Dell Scotia Chamber of Commerce. We're now meeting in the town of Scotia offices. It's nice over there. It's a good, so if anybody says, don't the chamber meeting, it's not in the archaeology building, it's not at the resource center, it's now in the town of Scotia offices, which are right across from the Scotia Lodge. First Friday of every month at noon. I went to the bike rodeo, it was a very lovely little event. And once again, just many thanks to Sarah Reback, who pulled off yet another lovely event for the kids in the city of Rio Dell. Really good to see a good turnout down there. I attended the fire department meeting the same week. Gave them a heads up about this CAL FIRE state of California DGS issue. They have a billion events coming up in July, starting in July. I'm just gonna give you a few. They are gonna be selling fireworks as a fire department fundraiser starting June 28th. They're doing some kind of barbecue and fireworks thing for 4th of July. One is at 6 p.m. I think that's the barbecue, and the fireworks are at 9 p.m. Then there will be their beers, bands, and barbecue / softball tournament. And that is July 6th and 7th over here in the park. They are also, I think they caught the kids who vandalized the bathrooms. So the people who vandalized the bathrooms. So they are gonna put up some security cameras over there to try to deter further vandalism. This brings me to something that I would like to place on our next agenda, which is I think the city should contribute some money towards helping them put up some cameras. I think it's very important to support any efforts to crack down on vandalism anywhere in city limits. And I think cameras in public places have helped us in the past. Our police department, is helped out by these cameras. So I do think it's important for us because it's not just that. It's not the only vandalism. So if the council agrees, I would love to have that placed on our next agenda as a discussion item. Everyone agree?
No, I more than agree on it.
Okay, good to go. All right, that's what our nuisance advisory committee meeting is canceled for tomorrow because it is a holiday. So we will see you all in July. This Friday, though, we do have a beautification, walkability, and pride committee. I think I said that wrong. A beautification committee meeting this Friday at 1:30 p.m. And then our new spay neuter nonprofit Humboldt Humane is meeting in the chambers at 2:30 also this Friday. This coming Monday, Rio Dell is hosting a Redwood Regional Economic Development Commission meeting. So we're getting a bunch of other electeds and various representatives from other boards and other jurisdictions here and make them come to Rio Dell, see what we have to offer. So. And then we get to give a presentation and get them involved in a little bit more of our economic development themed stuff. Lastly, the school board meeting got moved to what? Monday. 6:30 p.m. Monday, the 24th. Here. And I'm cooking. Last, the school board meeting got moved to June 27th due to graduation, which the staff up at Bear River said that Rio Dell was their best renters for a long time as far as graduations and weddings go, that we were the best behaved and it was the smoothest event. So that's always good to hear. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Woodall? No. Councilmember Moore?
Just want to say it's nice to see work going on the dog park down there.
Yes.
The fence post and stuff going in the sidewalk up the side. The exercise equipment looks awesome. Agree 100% with vandalism thing because all the new stuff going in town is just right for it. And the ones who don't want cameras around town control kids. And I have an HCOG meeting Thursday and I will be out for the next council meeting. I have to spend a couple weeks in line. So other than that.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
Yeah, we didn't have the HWMA meeting was canceled due to lack of And, so that'll pick up. Excellent. We'll go forward. And I don't believe there's one on this. That's all I have.
And I attended an HTA meeting and a Humboldt Transit Authority meeting. And the Ride Humboldt campaign is in full swing. They have an app that you can do. They have a smaller bus where you can have them come by and pick you up at a certain time. You can just go into your app. I don't think it reaches Rio Dell, but definitely is in the northern city area. But they are really, really pushing. They're cleaning up the buses. They have a new sleeker look where it's just kind of white and green and says Ride Humboldt without all of the advertisements all over it. They are, the hydrogen buses are going into production soon, and they're redoing the whole transit area where the building is, so that they can put in a new hydrogen station for fueling the new buses. And so they are really just, they're going full steam. They're always looking for employees. So if you know anyone who wants to be a driver, they have a very good salary and very good benefits. So, so put that word out there too. I have a policy meeting, an environmental quality policy meeting, and a community services policy meeting on Thursday and Friday of this week. And we'll both be attending, and everyone else certainly, the city manager said, welcome to the Fortuna Police Department's grand opening. And I think finally, just don't forget to go to the Great Redwood Trail.org and put in some, thumbs up for Rio Dell, put in some suggestions for the route to come through here. And it's very easy to do. It's very easy as far as the website, the interactive website. So please, we have until July 3rd. So please do that. It would help our community immensely. So, and I think that's all that I have. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So
We have a second motion? We have a second. Till, July 2nd.
No, I thought you were gonna say August.
No. August, I think